Dude, it's such a nice day outside. You want to go to the beach?
I want to, but I'm revisiting Sonic Forces for a video today, so that's probably going to take me the entire day. You go on without me.
It's no big deal. I'll just catch you around next time, alright? Alright, see ya. You beat the game already?
Yeah, and I had enough time to not only do my practice, but rewatch the entire Harry Potter series. Let's go to the beach. When I sat down to replay Sonic Forces for this video, I came in wanting to find good things to say about it. I still remember how excited I was when the teaser trailer dropped in 2017 during Sega's 25th anniversary party, and I enjoyed the game when I got my hands on it a year later. But over time, my opinion on Forces soured, even though I barely played it since beating the game. Wait a minute, Sonic Forces f***ing sucks! I wanted to chalk this change up to the game's length, and me just being affected by public opinion. So I was hoping after another trip through Sunset Heights that I could spread some positivity about the game because I love Sonic. I love him more than most people I've met in real life. Yes, someone actually made this for me in college. I wanted to be able to say that Sonic Forces is more than a great soundtrack and rushed potential. I can't. I think the best place to start with this game is to talk about the character avatar customization, because I think this is the cause of Sonic Forces feeling so devoid of content. Sonic team head Takashi Iizuka said in a 2017 interview that the character avatar's inclusion was inspired by letters from fans that included their own original characters. How many of those letters do you think Sega interns threw out before Iizuka even saw them because they were too high on the scale of 1 to Rule 34? You're given 7 different animal species to choose from for your avatar, each coming with a unique special ability. Each have their own merit, but if you're looking to rethink your life choices a little less while playing this game, then you'll want to go with Bird to make sure you have that double jump for platforming. Now it's time to customize my avatar. My goal by the end of the game was to put my avatar in the clashiest, most unaesthetically pleasing outfit I could come up with. I think I really nailed it by the end of the game. I like his Mickey Mouse rave outfit, but creating the worst avatar of all time, I call him Bird Gumby, was easier said than done because of the sheer number of customization options you have in Sonic Forces. The game gives you new wardrobe and Wispin options as rewards for each achievement. I changed my avatar's outfit every couple of missions. However, I never switched my Wispon from Burst because having lots of customization options for the avatar is great, but the majority of the game's rewards are centered around these options, and the rest of the game feels shallow by comparison. It makes you wonder what Sonic Team's thought process was during the development cycle of Sonic Forces. Okay, we got 99 hats, 71 pairs of glasses, 30 mouthpieces, 112 pairs of gloves, 162 pairs of shoes, 151 shirts, and 153 bodysuits.
That's great. How's the rest of the game going?
If the rest of the game had been as fleshed out as the avatar character customization, Sonic Forces could have gone down as one of the best modern Sonic games. Unfortunately, we were given a poorly developed story, short levels, and repetitive gameplay instead. I love the general premise of Sonic Forces' story. Eggman finally defeats Sonic with the help of his new creation Infinite, and your job as the player is to take back the world. That's badass. Sega actually gave us a darker storyline in a Sonic game. What could possibly go wrong? Everything. After playing through this game again, the only true positive I could point to in the game's story is that Sonic Team did a great job of incorporating so many beloved characters from the franchise into the plot. They only appear in a couple of actual cutscenes during the game, but they're balanced well in the intercoms that pop up between chapters and during levels. I would have liked to see Blaze there too, but she would have complicated the plot, so it makes sense. It was really nice seeing more than just Sonic, Tails, Amy, and Knuckles in a main series game not named Generations. As for the rest of the story, to be clear, I'm never expecting an amazing story from a Sonic game. I'm mostly here for the characters. The only Sonic game stories that I would say are amazing are Unleashed and Sonic and the Black Knight. I'm also not expecting perfect cutscenes and dialogue. Sonic games are full of stuff like,
"Watch out! You're gonna crash! Ah!"
If I tell ya, will you marry me?
No way!
I thought I had you this time.
Ah! Chaos control!
I love the wackiness that comes with Sonic cutscenes, even down to his one-liners, which Sonic Forces has too. The story's problems are just legitimately frustrating from a storytelling standpoint. You know that darker, more serious premise Sonic Forces has? Sonic Team said, let's hang it up on the fridge next to the grade school art project and forget about it after like 2 cutscenes. The game starts so serious. Sonic's imprisoned by Eggman and tortured for 6 months. Tails has gone crazy from the loss of Sonic, and a kid has joined the resistance after Infinite destroyed their city. But the game does absolutely nothing with it after that initial setup. Sonic is found almost right away on the death egg. Does this look like a hedgehog that has been tortured for months to you? I get this is a kid's game, but he isn't even emotionally damaged, let alone has a scratch on him anywhere. Hey, if I can make it through Sonic Boom, Rise of Lyric, I can make it through anything. I know Sonic has strong mental fortitude, but give us something. Sonic got beat up way more in Sonic and the Black Knight. It just takes you out of the severity of the situation so fast, and the rest of the game reflects this immediate shift in tone. I'm a big Tails fan, and it really feels like he's the only character that got butchered in this game out of the good guys. He's understandably devastated that Sonic is gone, but instead of creating an opportunity for Tails to grow as a character and take charge of the resistance, they just made him a coward that can't even fix Omega. Also, the game never mentions how Omega got fixed, and he just kind of shows up in the final boss battle. Even Rouge noticed that bullshit.
It's not like you just waited till the last minute to come in and act all cool, saving the day.
Tails' cowardice is rewarded by being delegated to the role of Classic Sonic's personal secretary for the rest of the game, which gives off the impression that Sonic Team thinks Tails is nothing without Sonic. Speaking of Classic Sonic, he just feels so forced and unnecessary in the game's story. Bird Gumby fits in much more naturally, as the character avatar is given ample cutscene screen time. Classic Sonic's role in the plot is just the rest of the characters telling him where to go. You can tell Sonic Team saw how well received Sonic Generations was and said,
fuck it, let's do it again.
I get they wanted to tie Forces and Mania together, but that just made him feel even more unnecessary to me. Especially when Sonic Mania Adventures showed us just how much personality Classic Sonic can have. Classic Sonic's primary contribution to the plot was saving Tails from a Chaos copy, which is a great transition into how badly the villains were handled in this game. Having Eggman assemble a super villain plus Shadow team is an amazing idea that was just really poorly executed. There's no build up to any of the game's villains besides Infinite and Eggman. That puddle cutscene is the closest thing to a Chaos boss battle that we got. Zavok gets pummeled by Sonic 20 minutes into the game after one cutscene, and not explained Giant Metal Sonic gets beat up on a bridge all of a sudden. The plot twist is that Infinite created copies of all of these characters to create an army for Eggman, which explains why Shadow is helping Eggman to start the game. Once again, good idea with poor execution, because 1, you never fight any of these copies in any of the levels besides boss fights. You're stuck fighting generic egg bots instead. And 2, these copies are supposed to be as strong as the originals, yet they get plowed over in one hit, so I don't get it. Infinite does his job in the main game of Sonic Forces by being the edgy, overpowered enemy that Sonic must overcome to win the day. His mysterious image gets a big old clown nose thrown on it by playing Episode Shadow, the short prequel section to Sonic Forces. Infinite's backstory can be boiled down to,
don't show your pathetic face around me ever again.
I am not weak.
Infinite was better off just being a lab experiment created by Dr. Eggman and leaving it at that. Eggman is Eggman in Sonic Forces. If there's one thing Sonic Team can be trusted to nail every single time, it's him. Thank you, Mike Pollock. Overall, the Sonic Forces story is one that looks great at first glance, but once you take a closer look at it, you go, bah! There's just too many things that could have been done better. If it were up to me, I would have had each of the villains oversee a part of the world, and the game would be broken up into sections for those worlds, with Eggman and Infinite appearing in them along the way before they have their own part at the very end. That way, each villain gets their time in the spotlight, and more time is allowed for the story to develop. It would also be helpful in remedying the game's primary gameplay issue. It's too short. games can be short yet incredible experiences due to the game's impact or the variety of gameplay. However, Sonic Forces can be beaten casually within 3 to 4 hours, including extra stages and episode Shadow, while having the story problems we discussed and essentially the same gameplay from start to finish. The only levels that took me over 2 minutes were Chemical Plant because water level, the second to last stage full of auto-lock missiles. How am I supposed to avoid that in 2D? And the final boss fight, which took me 18 minutes because I just don't care enough to try for a better time when you restart from phase 1 in a 3-phase boss fight. I swear I have better things to do. I swear I'm totally not unemployed or anything. The final boss is by far my favorite level in the game because Sonic Team finally woke up from their 4-year development cycle slumber and said, what if we made the player try? Up until that point, the game suffers from every character having an auto win button. Sonic's boost mechanic is back. Classic Sonic can use drop dash to bust through enemies like in Sonic Mania. And if you equip the burst wisp on, you can just hold down that button and never get within half a football field of enemies ever again. Sonic's boost loses all meaning in this game. Boost wisps are in constant supply, along with killing enemies. Boosting your gauge means that you never run out of boost until the final boss level. Why is double boost the exact same thing, but Bird Gumby is there with in the background? In the Death Egg fight, you actually have to plan out your routes and use the boost sparingly to hit him. You know, like every other game that the boost mechanic was in before Forces. The classic Sonic Drop Dash and Wisp and Flamethrower have unlimited use. This further exacerbated the issue of just holding down one button from start to finish every stage, destroying the same enemies over and over again. My Joy-Cons have serious Joy-Con drift at this point, and it had almost zero impact on my gameplay experience since you can just hold forward almost the entire game. It gets to the point where it's startling when the game wants you to act on your own and slow down. Why is this the one turn in the game I can't boost through? Even on hard mode, levels are too easy to S rank. You can get hit and die multiple times while still obtaining that rank because this game focuses on the player completing levels quickly. Seems counterproductive to discourage exploration when the game is so short already. The only rewards in the game that aren't more avatar costumes are extra stages unlocked through collecting red rings in standard levels. Somehow these extra levels take away from the overall experience of the game. Ever wanted to know what it's like to deal with Lakitu in a Sonic game? Me neither. You know how platforming with the character avatar was the worst part of the game because they sync like Sonic Force's Metacritic score? Have more 40-second levels of just that. I swear that I sometimes spent longer on result screens clicking through my avatar awards than I did actually playing these extra levels. I like that this game incorporates classic locales like the Death Egg, Chemical Plant, Metropolis, and even mentions Seaside Hill. Green Hill Zone was a given, there's no getting around that, but I think they saw
Green Hill's looking a lot more like Sand Hill right now
as a fresh take on it. I don't know. Sunset Heights gives off City Escape vibes, and Mystic Jungle checks the obligatory Sonic Casino level box. My issue is that you revisit these areas over and over again with all three characters throughout the game until you reach Eggman Empire at the end. I get it, this is a Sonic game. They have multiple acts in each zone. But this game being a continuous story like Sonic Adventure 2 causes these levels to all blur together. None of them stand out since they're so brief and the gameplay is so repetitive. I wanted to end this video by doing a quick rundown on everything I would have done to improve Sonic Forces. Remove Episode Shadow. It downgrades Infinite as a character and plays exactly the same as the rest of the game. Remove Classic Sonic entirely as his levels pale in comparison to anything in Sonic Mania that came out that same year. Do away with the Phantom Ruby creates clone subplot and have the actual versions of the villains rule over part of the world and you go through each world one at a time instead of bouncing around between locales. Make boost and wisp on usage a resource to be managed, tighten the controls to encourage exploration, and lengthen the duration of each stage. Also, actually create a null void level because you just get sent into it for 2 seconds, then pop back out for a shitty grind level only to do a boss battle there later. Like, I don't know what they were thinking with that one. Make Tails an actual character! So that's Sonic Forces. It's a strange case where the game just felt rushed and lacked depth, despite the fact that the dev team had 4 years to develop the game. At least Sega understood Forces lacked content and gave the game a $40 price tag, which likely led to the game having strong sales numbers. I'm still one of the suckers that bought the bonus edition because of course I want a Joy-Con with Sonic's face on it. Do you think I have self-respect? I wanted this video to be a positive review, but this game is honestly worse than I remember it being after my initial playthrough. It had a lot of good ideas that needed to be more developed, which is weird to say when these ideas were developed in past Sonic games. If I had to rank Sonic Forces compared to the rest of the main series modern Sonic games, I plan on reviewing them all at some point. I'd say it's in contention with Sonic 06, Shadow the Hedgehog, and Secret Rings for the worst of the bunch. Is Sonic Boom a main series modern Sonic game? No, Patrick, Sonic Boom is not a main series modern Sonic game.